You walk onto a dealership lot in 2025 and see a badge you haven't thought about since childhood. Lancia, or Scout, or a tiny Fiat 500 that somehow looks both retro and futuristic at the same time. For a second, it feels like the car world hit rewind, but it didn't. It hit reset. A lot of brands that were basically dead a few years ago are suddenly back with new investors, wild EV tech, and big plans. Some will crush it, some will crash and burn. But right now, in 2025, we're watching a real-time comeback story play out. And to see how deep this revival really goes, we need to start with a rally legend that refused to stay in the grave. Brand number 1, Lancia. For years, Lancia was basically a punchline. Once a world rally monster, then reduced to selling an ancient Ypsilon only in Italy. That was it. One old city car in one country. Stellantis decided that was embarrassing for a brand with Delta Integrale in its blood. So they hit the reset button. In 2024, they launched an all-new Ypsilon and started opening showrooms across Europe, targeting about 70 new locations by the end of 2025. This isn't just a facelift. Lancia calls it a new renaissance. New logo, new design language, and a future lineup built around electric models like the upcoming Gamma sedan and a reborn Delta later in the decade. They're even tying the brand back to its rally roots with the planned return to top-level motorsport, using that nostalgia to sell modern EVs. But Lancia isn't the only once great name trying to claw its way back. Over in the US, a brand that was down to basically one minivan is quietly rebuilding its future. Brand number 2, Chrysler. Not long ago, Chrysler's lineup in North America was basically Pacifica and nothing else. The 300 sedan was gone, the brand looked forgotten, and people openly wondered if Stellantis would just pull the plug. Instead, Chrysler got something rare: a second chance. The company set up a dedicated design studio, hired new product planners and marketers, and started talking about a serious reboot. One key piece is a new electric crossover expected around 2025, based on Stellantis' STLA platforms, meant to finally give Chrysler something modern to sell again. There's also talk of a future model inspired by the Halcyon, and even spiritually picking up where the 300 left off, which would put Chrysler back into proper sedan territory instead of just family vans. If Chrysler's comeback works, it'll be because it rebuilt its lineup around a few sharp, tech-heavy EVs instead of coasting on nostalgia. But if you want nostalgia done loud and rugged, another nameplate took a very different route. Brand number 3, Scout Motors. If you grew up around old International Harvester Scouts, you remember them as square, simple 4x4s that could outclimb a lot of proper SUVs. Then the brand disappeared for decades. Volkswagen went into the archives, pulled out the Scout name, and built a whole new company around it. It's an independent, US-based operation under the Volkswagen umbrella, focused on electric trucks and SUVs. In 2024, they revealed 2 key models, the Terra pickup and the Traveler SUV. Both are body-on-frame EVs with locking diffs and serious off-road hardware, aiming to start production later this decade at a new plant in South Carolina. Pricing is targeted under roughly $60,000 to go straight at the electric off-road crowd. So a farm truck icon from the 1960s is coming back as a battery-powered adventure brand. But not every comeback is about big, boxy trucks. One tiny Italian city car is quietly sneaking its brand back into the US, one charging cable at a time.
Brand number 4, Fiat. Fiat basically vanished from the US a few years ago. The old 500 faded, the 500L and 500X never really hit, and dealers emptied out. The comeback plan is small on purpose. Fiat is returning as a one-model brand in America, built around the new 500e. Production for North America started in early 2024, and by 2025, the 500e is the only Fiat you can buy in the US. It's a tiny electric hatch with about 140 to 150 miles of range, fast charging that adds roughly 30 miles in 5 minutes, and a huge focus on style and special editions, including a Giorgio Armani collector's edition and trims inspired by beauty, music, and Los Angeles. Instead of chasing mass volume, Fiat is aiming at city drivers who want something cute, electric, and very Italian. If that niche works, more models could follow. But Fiat isn't the only small car specialist trying to reinvent itself for the EV age. Brand number 5, Smart. Smart started as the king of tiny two-seaters, then slowly faded in many markets as buyers moved to crossovers. The brand looked like it might quietly disappear. Instead, Mercedes teamed up with Geely and restarted Smart as an EV-only marquee. The new Smart number 1 and 3 are compact electric crossovers built on Geely's SEA platform, designed in Germany and manufactured in China, targeting premium small EV buyers. But here's where the real comeback moment hits. In 2025, Smart confirmed the Smart number 2, a new all-electric two-seat city car explicitly pitched as a spiritual successor to the original Fortwo, set to arrive around 2026. So Smart is doing both, grown-up crossovers for range and profit, and a return to the tiny urban car that made it famous. If Smart is chasing premium cute, another revived badge is going after something very different: raw performance in a segment no one expected it from it. Brand number 6, Lotus. Lotus used to be that tiny British company that makes lightweight track toys, cool for enthusiasts, invisible to everyone else. That doesn't work in a world where you need volume and tech to survive. Their comeback plan is bold: go big, go electric, and go global. The Lotus Electre is a massive hyper SUV with at least 600+ horsepower from dual motors, huge range, ultra-fast charging, and pricing that puts it right up against high-end EV SUVs from Audi, BMW, and even Lamborghini. It's built in China, aimed at buyers who would never have considered an Elise, and backed up by models like the Emea electric sedan and updated Amira and sports car plans. This shift is part of Lotus's bigger move from bit player to globally relevant performance brand. Lotus is betting that trading some lightness for luxury will finally put its badge in real driveways instead of just posters. And Lotus isn't the only historic performance badge trying to reboot itself around electrons. Brand number 7, Maserati. Maserati has been in a rough spot. Falling sales, financial losses, and questions about its future. But it's not going quietly. The brand is rolling out a full Folgore electric lineup: the Grecale Folgore SUV, Gran Turismo Folgore Coupe, and Gran Cabrio Folgore convertible, which it calls the world's first fully electric luxury convertible. Maserati has talked about making its entire lineup electric by around 2028, tying that push to high-profile efforts like Formula E to blend old racing heritage with a new EV identity. The reality is messy. Some projects like the MC20 Folgore supercar have been delayed or canceled, and sales are still under pressure. But that's what makes this a true comeback story. It could still go either way. While Maserati fights for its place in the luxury world, a very different kind of brand is trying to climb back from obscurity with a lot more practicality and a lot less carbon fiber.
Brand number 8, Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi used to be everywhere: Lancer Evos, Pajeros, rally stories. Then it shrank. In many markets, it became that one brand with the cheap crossover at the back of the lot. Now there's a clear attempt at a comeback. Mitsubishi has laid out a plan with refreshed SUVs and new models, including a mid-cycle update for the 2025 Outlander with revised styling, upgraded interiors, and improved comfort features, plus updates to the Outlander PHEV, Eclipse Cross, and RVR. On top of that, there's a new off-road-focused Outlander variant coming, more capable than the old Trail Edition, and a next-gen EV developed with Foxconn's Foxtron for markets like Australia and New Zealand. Mitsubishi is also targeting a largely electrified lineup by the mid-2030s. This won't turn Mitsubishi into a hype brand overnight, but it's the start of a serious push back into relevance instead of just hanging on. And while Mitsubishi works on family SUVs, one last name is returning to keep the muscle car crowd awake at night. Brand number 9, SRT. SRT used to be the name you looked for if you wanted the wild version of a Dodge, Jeep, or Chrysler. Then, during corporate reshuffles, the brand got quietly folded into the background. In 2025, Stellantis decided to bring SRT back as a formal performance division again. The plan is to regroup high-performance engineers from Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram under one umbrella and let SRT oversee go-fast models and motorsport programs across the group. For fans, that means the badge on the fender might matter again. Instead of being just a sticker on a trim level, SRT is supposed to become a real center of performance tech, tuning both combustion and electrified models for serious speed. And that brings us to the bigger question. Why are so many brands suddenly trying to come back at the same time? Why 2025 is the year of the comeback badge?
If you zoom out, these 9 comebacks all share the same pressure. The car world is being rebuilt around electrification, software, and stricter rules. That kind of disruption is brutal for weak brands, but it also opens the door for second chances. Lancia can wrap its rally past around a new EV lineup. Chrysler can stop drifting and define itself around fresh crossovers instead of old sedans. Scout can come back as a pure electric off-road brand. Fiat and Smart can lean into being small, stylish, and urban, while the rest of the industry chases giant SUVs. Lotus and Maserati can use electrification to move upmarket and reach new buyers. Mitsubishi can rebuild with practical SUVs and new tech. SRT can give Stellantis a clear performance flag to rally around. Some of these comebacks will stick, some will fizzle, but if you care about cars, 2025 is a rare moment when forgotten badges are stepping back into the spotlight. Next time you walk through a lot or scroll listings and see a name you thought was gone, don't be surprised. In this new era of EVs and hybrids, the past isn't just repeating, it's being rewritten.